I know that all of us have experienced red flags at one point in time, but the question I have for y'all tonight is how many does it take for us to realize that we need to hit the exit door? Welcome to another episode of Chelsea's Live Line. It's so exciting to see y'all here tonight. I appreciate y'all for showing me some love. Make sure y'all hit that like button on your way in if you hear what you like tonight, okay? Tonight's episode is about Mary J. Blige, but it's not only about Mary, it's about all of us, because we know at some point in time, we've all experienced red flags. And whether we stayed or we left could determine if we ourselves were red flags. But what I'm going to do is salute the chat really quick. I saw Kojak in here bright and early. I appreciate you always for showing love, as well as Tracy in the building, Eric, and Hustler and Muscular. So thank you all for being here tonight. Let's get into tonight's episode as we talk a little bit about these red flags, all right? The word of the day is going to be coming from Proverbs 12:15, which says the following: "The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice." The wise listen to advice. The reason I'm bringing up this verse is because when we know we're in relationships, we're not listening a lot of times to anybody who's not in that relationship with us because we don't think they know what's best for us until we sit back and we reflect on that relationship and say we wish we would have had somebody to tell us that this didn't look right, that this was a red flag walking, but we ignored it because it was a red shirt, so we thought that they looked okay. And that's why I want to talk about Mary J, because recently she was on Earn Your Leisure's panel, right? She was talking about how she's paying her ex-husband all this money, all this alimony money, which is ridiculous. And we'll get into that in just a bit. And she's telling women what they should do and what they should not do in relationships today. All right. So let me read this chat a little bit more. I see y'all in here. Shout out to Successful Melanated Dusty. I appreciate you. Son Moses in the building. All right. Look at y'all. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Let's get into it. But before I do, I want to tell y'all have to be careful, women, when men say they're going to church, because there's a new type of church out here in Atlanta. I don't know if y'all heard of it. It's not a real church, but they playing with God's name. And that's one thing we should not do because that's blasphemy. But look at this, y'all. I had to start the show off with this. New Glow Baptist Church, y'all. New Glow Baptist Church. This is what's going on today, folks. This is a quote-unquote church. So this is why I tell you, they playing with God. This is a quote-unquote church in Atlanta. And this is what they showing for y'all to get into them pews. All right? That's what I'm telling you. We cannot play with God. And we know this is the end days. These are the end times because you see things like this. And let me share my screen with y'all real quick because this is a mess, to say the least. Dre is over here like, what did I come in on? Let me show you, honey. This is a mess. This is called New Glow Baptist Church. According to them, they are some type of quote-unquote church, right? And they are basically really just an OnlyFans equivalent, okay, when you think about it. OnlyFans equivalent, talking about the Buckhead breakfast meet and greet. See exclusive pictures. And this is what they're doing. So be careful, women. This is your warning sign right now. Be careful when you see on your man's bank statements, right? He said he went to New Glow Baptist Church. All right. He said, oh, he's paying his tithes. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's donating to charity by donating to New Glow Baptist Church. But you better check it out. Just because it says it's a church doesn't mean it's a church. All right. That's your warning sign of the day. This is a mess. When I see this on the internet, I'm saying, why are y'all playing with God? Knowing instead of called New Glow, it needs to be called New Ho Baptist Church. All right. Because that's exactly what's going on up in here. Pastors are pimping. But in reality, this is the same stuff we see in the church, but they just want to call it something different. What's the difference between them doing this? This is what people want to see in church anyway, right? This is what some of these men want to see in church. And you know the pastors love it as well. So it's just a mess. But yeah, they have a whole Patreon where you can pay monthly, and they're basically considering it like a fundraiser because it's kind of like a church. And it's just a mess. All right, so that's why I wanted to start off this show with New Ho Baptist AME Church. Because they're pimping anyway, right? That's the first thing. The next thing I want to do is really talk about women in general, how we ignore red flags. That's important because Mary J wasn't the only person. There are a lot of women, including myself, who have gone with the Pookies and the Ray Rays of the world. All right. Like someone may have had a job. That's a bare minimum to me. Some men had a job. The ones I've dated, they've had jobs, right? But that doesn't mean that they're still not a Pookie or a Ray Ray, because there are so many hours in a day for you to be doing something productive with your time. It doesn't stop once you clock out of the job. It's about the fact that you should be doing things to create that legacy, because that's how you build that generational wealth. But everybody's thinking about today and today only and not about the future. And that's why I'm saying I've noticed red flags. And sometimes we see that 90-day trial period, and it gets real after that 90-day trial period because everybody's in representative mode. And the same thing could happen to so many other women and men today. I know some of y'all have had situations that you wish, if you can go back in time, you would never have dealt with these folks. And they were learning lessons. Because literally everything we go through is a learning lesson. It's a blessing to be able to go through it to teach somebody else not to have to deal with it anymore. All right, shout out to Auntie Carolyn as well. I saw you in the chat. Big Smooth here. Melanin A1, I appreciate you. And my brother Chavis. Thank y'all all for being here. Yes, you just missed the Chavis, but I'll bring it up again for y'all out here. You got New Ho Baptist Church. They call it New Glow, but I'm calling that New Ho. New Ho Baptist Church, where they over here selling women and making money. It's not a real church, but it's in Atlanta, and it's a hot mess going on, y'all. So that's what y'all miss. New Glow Baptist Church. And playing with God like that. That's what I'm saying. God is not pleased. It is the end times. As Chavis always says, it is the end times. Okay? All right. Now that we have that, what I'm going to do is actually read some of these Facebook posts that I came across recently where women we're talking about some of these men that they're dealing with. Supposed to be Christian men, but we're going to detect the red flags. That's what we're going to do. So let me know when you detect the red flags that they're referring to, and let's call it out all together and tell these women where they made the mistake at. And the thing about it is that sometimes we're going to turn into red flags ourselves, because as soon as we detect the red flag, what are we going to do with that information? Are we going to stay in that situation, or are we instead going to leave? Because if we end up staying just because you don't want to be lonely or whatever, fill in the blank, that means you're a red flag yourself. Because since you know better, it's up to you to do better. But if you don't, you walk in red flag now. So you can't no longer say that that man is a red flag. You have become one at this point. So let's get into these examples first, and then we'll get into Mary in just a bit. All right? I hope y'all are enjoying tonight's episode. Let's get into it. I want to see them red flags in the chat when we get to it. All right, here's the first one. Let's read it. Hello, my ladies. So I don't really post on here. I just read all the amazing posts to get insight. Today, I'm in need of some thoughts. I will make this as short as possible. Here we go. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years now. This man is great. Very loving, caring, compassionate, or considerate, passionate, kind, nurturing, God-fearing, girl, you got all these adjectives. God-fearing, hardworking, respectful, willing, etc. Y'all giving me the red flags already. I ain't even get into it yet. It's a red flag alert. Y'all must be reading fast. Here we go. We have had an issue of lust and fornication in our relationship. It is very hard to stop. See, the thing about it is that you should never have started it, because it is difficult sometimes to stop once you've started. That's what you got to understand. But you told me in the previous sentences, he's great. He's caring, he's loving, he's compassionate, and all these different things. But if he's leading you down a path towards lust and fornication, then I don't think he is those things you say he is. I don't think he is. And that's why we're so quick as women want to throw in, oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, but... And then everything you say after that trumps what you just said about him, because we're living in reality. And I don't care about what you think. I care about what reality is. And it's just a sad situation. But let's continue. We almost never argue, but we always have sit-down conversations about each other's needs and what we need to work on. And then another red flag is this. You know, we've been dating for 2 years. I mean, it's like a yellow, because at the end of the day, you're almost at a point in time where, as Christian people, y'all don't be waiting a long time. We don't wait a long time before we get married, right? It's a courting phase. We know what the end goal is. Really, it's the beginning of the end. If you get what I'm saying, like, it's not the end. Marriage is not the end. It's just the beginning of that. And shout out to the DJ Gray Hat. I appreciate you for being here as well. Let's continue this. All right. So today he says, can we talk? In short, he tells me he's not getting what he needs sexually, and that it's getting to him. And I explained to him that I'm just getting, let me read right. And I explained to him that I'm just trying to do what's right. He said he completely understands that. He came from relationships, not marriages, where sex is a big thing for him. Waving my invisible red flag. He says he does not feel desired by me, which I very much do. And see, the thing about it is that we are so quick. Like this man said, he doesn't feel desired by her. See, maybe in his past, he's had women, all these different women. Again, he's had all these different women. Now he wants her to be like them. That's the problem.
There was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, and Alicia.
That's my thing. If there's all these different women, then of course he may not feel desired by her because maybe the other women gave him the feeling that he was felt desirable by them, if you get me. So now it's kind of like a comparison thing. But she says, I just want to be married to give him my all. I understand that. He is very special to me. I also told him that, and he said he feels like I'm going to stay this way even if we get married. He also told him that he just has to change his mindset on how he thinks about sex before marriage, because it's hard for him to see marriage with me if I'm not giving him what he needs sexually, since he's been conditioned to think that way, which I was happy to hear him say that. I don't know why, and be honest with me, but I'm just kind of lost now. He's always willing to do better and do the right thing. So I'm proud of him for that. But if he can't change the way he thinks on it, or just ask me to marry him, then this may not work. I prayed about it and just asking God what to do or say. Thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? I see y'all in the chat. Shout out to Eric with the $2 saying 2 years of dating, most men don't want to marry, or most men don't want to marry. Thank you for explaining that. Seriously, 2 years. Chavis said, lady, jump out the plane. It's about to crash into hell. Oh my goodness. Talk about it. No, and shout out to Jay Robinson. No, this is a male and female relationship. This ain't no male on male. All right, jump out the plane. It's time, because you are on your way. That's what I'm saying. Every man is leading you ladies somewhere, whether it's to heaven or to hell, but best believe that you're being led somewhere. And since you know that, if you're confused at all, then you know that that person isn't for you. That man is not going to, a godly man isn't going to lead you towards hell. He's going to lead you towards heaven. And the way he's going to do that is not by not being confused, by not keeping you like that. You wouldn't be confused. And you pray to God. I pray that you pray to God before you got with him, because the thing is, if you really pray to God and listen to him and really discern his voice from the devil's voice, you would know that this man is confused and he's going to lead you towards a path of destruction, and there will be no point of return. You can't change his mindset about that. How is his relationship with God? Because if he's talking to you and trying to convince you to change your mind on that solid foundation that you have, that's a reason in itself. That's enough in itself to let you know you don't need to be bothered. Shout out to That Christian Fan channel. He said, I'm in a training, so I can't stay. Much love, sis. Much love to you, bro. And much love to the Kings as well. I appreciate y'all so much for the support. And thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Seriously, though, you've prayed about it and just asking God what to do. But when God responds to you, are you going to listen to him, though? Yeah. Are you going to listen? Are you going to listen to him? Therefore, my response to you would be this. Take a seat back and realize that you don't need to be being bothered with this man if he is leading you towards somewhere that God wouldn't be pleased with. That's what you got to understand. There are so many women today who stay in relationships, stay in marriages, all because of desperation, all because they don't have no foundation. And that's why I'm going to be getting to the Mary J. Blige thing soon, because Mary had money. Mary had money. As soon as she decided to leave because he did her wrong, she ended up having to pay him. Ain't that something? That's what happens when you don't set up the situation before the situation happens. There are so many women today who are mad, they're miserable, and they've been manipulated all because they've stayed in relationships and they got married and they didn't have anything to fall back on, right? Let's say that a woman is staying with a man who's the breadwinner, but she doesn't have money of her own. What happens when that man starts disrespecting you, right? Because he thinks that he's the man because he has the money. There are certain dynamics like that have happened. That's why I tell women it's so important that you just don't go to no man looking pretty, because that's not enough. Don't go to the man looking pretty. Come to that man with a mindset to help him, to help complete him as well, because you are that helpmate, right? You're supposed to do that. But just coming in looking pretty and not bringing nothing to the table, and then something happens and now you want to ask for all this spousal support because you couldn't support yourself by yourself, you got to rethink the way you living. Rethink the way you living, because you out here buying all the stuff to look cute, right? But that ain't enough. That's not enough to keep no man, because he'll still cheat on you. He'll still mistreat you if he wants to do that. That's why I'm saying, come in correct, or you're going to be left with some disrespect. All right. That's that one. I'm going to get into the next one real quick, and we'll get into Mary after that. This lady here says, please, I need your help. My pastor recently just confessed that he loves me. My pastor just recently confessed that he loves me. I really trusted him. I bet you did. And most women do trust their pastors. Most women do trust their pastors until their pastors give them a reason not to trust them, because y'all put the pastors on the pedestal that sometimes they don't deserve. I'm not saying all pastors are like this, but just because a man is a pastor doesn't mean that he is a man of God, because sometimes they just needed somebody to fill in that seat. They didn't have nobody. Let's say the previous pastor didn't have a legacy, didn't have a son, didn't have a nephew who was ready to take up the position in the pulpit. Now, here comes this man that said, I want to be a pastor for the church, just because he thinks that that will get him women, just because he thinks that that will make people trust him and think that he's a man of God on the outside, but on the inside, he's going to New Glow Baptist Church, right? Therefore, be careful. Be careful, ladies. Let me read some comments real quick. Whoa, he married with 3 kids and she's 21? Dang, you reading too fast. Oh my goodness, let's get to it. Okay. He said, my pastor recently just confessed that he loves me. I really trusted him. He started by asking me to be friends with him, and I agreed. Since I'm an introvert and I have no friends, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. I felt happy. At least I have a God-fearing friend who can't take advantage of me. But now I feel so taken advantage of, because not even in my wildest dreams did I ever think he could say so. He is married, and his wife is even my role model. And he even goes to an extent of texting me some really dirty texts. He told me he wants to marry me, and his wife doesn't give him space. So he wants someone who can give him space and respect him. Can you imagine last Sunday, I was outside the church, and he came from behind and he spanked me? What in the holy hole is this? What is going on? He spanked me? I swear I felt really bad. It's just that I couldn't do anything because we were in public. I need advice because I'm so stressed out. I feel like even quitting the church, which would be a great starting point, because I feel everything is just not right. I'm 21. He's married with 3 kids. Please tell me, guys, do I block him or quit the church or what? You block him. You find you another church, because there's plenty of church homes out here, people. We cannot be so tied to a church home. We need to be tied to God. Wherever God tells us to go is where we're going to go. Not to a particular church, but we got to make sure that God is leading us there. God wouldn't lead you to no pastor who's manipulating you. God won't lead you to no pastor who is spanking you on your behind. What is this? Where in the Bible does it say that's okay? And also sending you dirty texts. Girl, you could have there's too much going on. I think that pastor needs to be exposed, because we know that in the Bible it talks about how the pastor is supposed to set the standard. And the pastor's telling you that's okay, and it seems like real cultish, then you need to work your way out. There's no reason. If you have to type up a question sometimes for us to answer it, sometimes you already know the answer, because y'all typing it up because y'all are confused. And whenever you're confused, you know it's not right for you. Again, let me know what y'all think. But I say block him, and she needs to go to another church. That's no problem. Literally send me your zip code. I can find one for you. I'll help you vet out some churches, because that one's not it. Why would you be staying in a situation like that when you know that this woman is your role model? His wife is your role model, right? His wife is your role model, but you gonna let him spank on you? I would be telling whoever I could, I'm about to get out of here. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even tell nobody. Y'all deal with them yourself, because I know he's not the only one. I know you're not the only one, ma'am. I know you're not the only one that he's doing this to. This man is taking advantage of the women in the pulpit. That's ooh, it's a mess. I don't even know what to say. I want to give a shout out real quick to Joker Nutty Nate with the super sticker. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Let's continue this, but all I'm gonna just say is it's a mess. And shout out to my sis Mona in the chat. She said, "Hello, Chelsea and Live Liners. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you. And yes, of course, hit that like button on your way in." I'm telling you, these pastors are something else. And people just think it's normal men out here doing this. Nah, it's pastors out here as well doing it. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to talk a little bit about Mary J. I'm going to play the video in which she was on the panel with the guys from Earn Your Leisure. And she's talking about her experience in regards to alimony, divorce, and all of that.
Let me ask you this. You've talked about in the past where you had to go on tour to pay alimony to your ex-husband. I don't know if the number is correct. I saw it was like $30,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And see, what my question is, as we stop it right here, my question is this: what man in itself would think it's okay to take $30,000 worth of money from a woman? I don't know. That's giving me Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't care what anybody say. I don't think that's acceptable. And see, this is the thing. There are so many women out here, so many women entertainers who have allowed for a man to be their manager. I'm not saying that it's not okay, but I'm going to say that the odds sometimes are in your favor, or not in your favor, because you see that Melba Moore was one. For my old school folks in here, Melba Moore had her husband as her manager, Mary J. Blige, and maybe y'all can think of other folks as well who have. And Eric's talking about he would take the $30,000. I know y'all would take it, but it's just like, in reality, it's just I don't know. Because, dang, I mean, I don't know. I'm just listening to y'all. But shout out to my sis Vina as well for being here. She said, "Hello, sis. It's been a while." She said, "Glad I can join for a little while." And I appreciate you for being here as well. Oh, you said Monique too? What Monique? Oh, Monique has Sydney as her manager, and there's so much going on with Monique. And that's what I'm saying. I know Monique is getting her lawsuits squared away now, and she's getting opportunities again with folks. But even though she's getting those opportunities, she was kind of messing up her image at one point in time, calling all these different folks out. That's what I'm telling you. It takes a lifetime to build up a reputation and like a second to lose it. But let's continue with Mary real quick.
Correct us if we're wrong.
So, looking back on it in hindsight, what would you have done differently when you first got married in terms of shielding your assets?
I would have never let a person have that much power over my money, my life, over anything ever again. So I would now I'm learning, I'm in control of my business, I'm in control of my life, and it's mandatory that I learn more about finance business, so I don't ever have to be robbed again by, maybe somebody you think you can trust, you know what I mean?
So do you think that it was more so just a lack of education, somebody playing on you not knowing things and then purposely?
Yes. It was a lack of education, and it also was just trusting people to help you when you don't know, and you hope that they're going to help you and not steal from you and lie to you and just try to take control over your life. So yeah, exactly. You hope that people would help you when you don't know.
And see, that's the thing. People do not help you. No, they won't do it. And that's the thing, which is so unfortunate, because I'm telling you, she coming out $360K a year with the alimony. $30,000 a year. $30,000 a month to this man. And then this man is going to use the money that he's got to be able to spend it on other women. And it's so sad that this is the reality that we live in. But that's what happens when you don't set up the foundation. When you come in as a woman or a man making more than a woman, a significant amount more, right? When you make significantly more than any other person that you're getting in a relationship with, you have to be careful about how assets are divided. Because I know one thing that Dre from Harrison Family Values, he talked about how prenups sometimes are a good thing to do. I know we don't want to talk about the what ifs, but sometimes they do happen. Sometimes we get married and then we get divorced. It does happen at times. What are we going to do to prepare for that? Because sometimes people do not like to play fair. They do not like to play fair. Because we lovey-dovey while we're in this marriage, but as soon as we sign on them divorce papers, I'm coming for everything, is how some people think. I wouldn't think like that. I said, whatever we come in with is what we're going to leave out with. But then it gets complicated when somebody's your manager. Look at Wendy Williams. I don't know if Wendy has to pay this man alimony or anything like that, but Wendy got finessed. That's another person that got finessed. And now Wendy is so bitter at other women. She came for Tabitha Brown about a year and a half ago. And that's when Wendy started going down. Like, no pun intended, but Wendy started going down because she disrespected a family that did nothing to her. She came for Tabitha Brown because Tabitha Brown has said that I'm going to retire my husband. He was a police officer and he doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to live his life. And then Wendy came for her, and then Wendy went down. Wendy had to go into rehab because that's what happens when you express this ill will for folks instead of staying in your lane and understanding that has nothing to do with you. But yeah, consider prenup, because I know that it's a bad word. It's a bad word sometimes, but when you're coming in with things, I'd rather be protected. And it's not a just in case thing. It's just the reality, right? It's just the reality of things where you just want to come in and say, let's get this together. Because let's say you're coming in and you're marrying somebody who has children. When, I don't want to be responsible for nobody's child support. I'm just saying I don't want to be bothered with that. And that's why I would say, hey, if I was coming in with a person with a child, I don't want to be responsible for that. That's something that you are responsible for. All these different things. I'm just saying it's better to be smart now than trying to figure all this stuff out later in a stressful predicament. Because we going to love each other enough. Let's love each other enough to make sure we got our I's dotted and our T's crossed. But no, we say, oh no, we just want to do this. Oh, but that's keeping one foot out the door. That's keeping one foot out the door, but I don't think it's keeping one foot out the door. Because when I'm marrying somebody, I'm marrying them forever. That's my goal. But I'm saying we still need to have things set up because we don't want the state to be in charge of our property.
And a lot of times what happened to me, they rob you, so it's best to get education so you don't have to depend on anybody to control your money or to help you, to help you keep your money in a safe place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we spoke about this a little bit earlier before you came on. It's important to make money, but it's more important to keep the money.
Yeah.
And so we've had plenty of conversations and people in entertainment. And the one thing that they always talk about, and Fat Joe spoke about it, Steve Harvey spoken candidly about it, is paying taxes.
Yeah.
So
check it out. Speaking of taxes, I owe so much money. I never thought I was ever going to get out of debt. I'm out of debt now. But I owe millions, like hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. And I think, right, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I would have lost my train of thought too after all that, because millions of dollars of taxes and whatnot, it's a mess. But let me just give a shout out to Mona real quick. She said, Chelsea, you're stunning, and I love that top. It's cute. I appreciate you, Mona. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I appreciate you, Kojak, as well. And one comment that I highlighted from Vina said that Mary J is a broken woman. Talking about strength of a woman, but I'm praying for her. I can't listen to her music anymore. A lot of it makes me depressed. I'm saying, because it was just those certain stages. When you get to a certain point in your life, you have to move on from certain songs. It hit back then when you were going through something, but you can't be listening to that now. Like, I listened to Fantasia one time. Shout out to Fantasia. I listened to her one time on an episode where she was saying about free yourself. The song Free Yourself. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. And they was wondering why she wasn't singing that a lot anymore. She said, because, hey, I'm in this relationship now. I'm not trying to free myself, right? I'm not trying to be this or that anymore. That was at this point in my life. But now I'm not going to be sitting and listening to no more. I'll listen to No More Pain, No More Drama, because yeah, that makes sense. No more pain, no more drama. That should be your motto for sure. But certain songs that Time on My Hands, Since You Been Away, Boy, and all that, I'm going down since you ain't been around or whatever. But yeah, Mary J, I know she has the strength of a woman. Just one thing I've noticed about Mary is that she's been dressed in a certain type of way ever since she's gotten out of this marriage. Can't y'all tell her wardrobe has kind of changed, where it's basically missing pieces here and there? She'll have the high slit dresses. I'm saying she's a pretty woman, of course, I'm saying that, but you do recognize that it is a switch up. It's given, I guess, Auntie Mary at this point in her life, where she's just saying, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And I know she had a recent interview with City Girls talking, I guess Carisha from City Girls, talking about how she feels now, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. That's enough in itself.
Go back to the.
So I was trying, we were going to get to that. So the lack of education around that, right? As you're getting this large sum of money, you're accumulating it.
Right.
How are we even getting educated? Who are we surrounding ourselves to protect ourselves, to make sure that we are paying taxes? Is it a financial advisor, somebody in our team?
A great business management team. And you have to have, now I have the wisdom. Now I look at my payroll, that's not my money. My taxes are not my money. My tithes are not my money. So I'm like, pay my business, pay my payroll, pay my taxes, pay my tithes. All of that money, I don't even want to see it because it doesn't belong to me. And that's how I was moving, period. I was moving like that, period. But nobody listened to me. When I was married, I was like, pay my taxes, pay my tithes, do everything. And then, they didn't listen to me. So, but he was in control of everything. So he wasn't gonna, we don't want to do all of that, but that's how I do. Those things are important to me. Payroll, taxes, tithes, anything that, if anyone's doing a service, you have to pay them for it, and you have to call people back. Sometimes people just want to, oh, okay, I'm gonna get back to you. It's not always so much about, vendors beating your door down because they're just being aggravated. They just want to know that you are acknowledging them if you owe them money. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you don't call people back, it creates a bad image for you. It creates, chatter that you don't do business properly. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, those things are important to me now.
I think it's so imperative that if you're a woman and you're in business with your man, or you're an entertainer, like in Mary's case, and you have a husband who is your manager, that you still have to educate yourselves on your own, because nobody's tricking you if you decide not to be knowledgeable about it. I think it's imperative that you do your research. Don't just depend on anybody to do something for you, because just in case they don't fulfill the duties that you expect of them, you can't be looking at them with a side eye when you have to learn for yourself. I think that's so important, is that they have to give a course. They should give a course when it comes to, if you're an entertainer, also make sure you learn about the business side of things, and not just that you're performing and that's it. And then, oh, where's my money? No, you need to understand about the logistics, because you're going to get finessed. You are going to get finessed.
So this is Strength of a Woman's Festival. And a lot of times when we think about prenups, it's always from a man's perspective. Like, a man wants his wife to sign a prenup before they get married because he has more money, but there's not always the case. Sometimes in your situation, the woman could be the breadwinner, or the woman can have more money. So what are your thoughts on prenups, and how would you approach it, or what advice would you give as far as for a woman that may be wealthy, well off, and they're looking to get married?
Get a prenup. Because I didn't have one. And that's why I ended up having to just give everything away, because it's so, let me just speak, it's so whack right now that men, can come at you and get, and get alimony. So when I was getting a divorce, I was like, you mean to tell me I got to pay him? And he cheated, and he lied, and he stole, and not to get all petty, but you know what I'm saying? You mean I gotta pay him for cheating and lying to me and ruining my life? So yeah, and the law is you have to, so I say get a prenup, cover yourself up. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
And that's the end of that. One thing I will talk about, like she said, is that if a man or woman cheats on somebody, there's no way that person should get no alimony. Put a 1 in the chat, people. I need to know what y'all think about this. I didn't do a poll tonight. But put a 1 in the chat if you think that people who cheat on folks should get alimony. And put a 2 in the chat if you think people who cheat on folks shouldn't get alimony. 1 for if cheating folks deserve alimony. 2 for cheating folks don't deserve alimony. I just want to see what y'all think about that. Let me know in the chat. My opinion is that if you cheated on me, why do you deserve to have money? Why do you deserve to have my money when you decided? I just want to make sure we all on one accord here. 2 chains. Okay, thank you. Seriously, I don't understand that. And in her case, I understand where she's coming from, because if somebody did something to ruin the marriage, there's no reason in which it should be acceptable for that person to receive $30,000 a month. And let me know in the chat. I want to put something else in the chat for y'all tonight. Let me know if you are, put a 1 in the chat if you are for prenups, and put a 2 in the chat if you are against prenups. 1 in the chat for prenups, 2 in the chat for against prenups. Okay, let me know. At first, I was somebody that was like, oh no, don't get a prenup. But now I am just thinking that, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's what I want to hear. 1 if you're for, 2 if you're, did I say 1 if you're for, 2 if you're against? I think, I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewind that back. Let me know what I said. 1 second. Okay, yep, I did say that. 1 in the chat for prenups. Thank God for that rewind. All right, perfect. 1 for prenups, 2 for against. I think that it's a smart move, y'all. I think that it's a smart move. It's not saying I'm going to divorce you. I'm just saying that if anything happens, because we know that things happen, we can look at the divorce rate to know that it's possible. We can't think we are any better than any other couple and that we may not get a divorce. We have to think of reality. Of course, if God put the covenant together, you don't want to break it apart, and you shouldn't let no man or no woman come in between. But we have to think about the fact that we want to line things up. We want to be smart. We don't want to see no more women getting finessed, and we definitely don't want to see any more men getting finessed. Because I see so many men that have to pay these women child support. And I'm going to be talking about that next week. I'm going to have a special guest on my show, and we're going to be talking about how he's had a few kids. When I say few, I mean not a few, but he has some children, and he's going to talk about how he's had to pay all these different women that he's had children by, not spousal support, but child support, and how it really doesn't matter how much you pay in child support, because if you're not able to be in your children's lives, then you're not making the impact. We know that the money doesn't equate to the actual, like, for example, this is what I say all the time. I want your presence, presence, and not your presence, presents. All right. All the time I say this. I want your presence, not your presence. All right. It's a big difference. This is what I'm talking about, where so many women think that, let me just keep, and this is off topic a little bit, but so many women think they can just keep a man out of a child's life. But do you realize the impact? The money don't make that child become young, go from young to old. That doesn't make that child grow up. That doesn't replace the man. And I don't like how the system has created it, but we don't have to succumb to the negativity of the system by accepting it and thinking that a man can be replaced by the system. So we're going to be talking about that next week. I'm looking forward to that, all because it doesn't matter how much money you're getting from that man, especially if you're going to use it and you're going to give it to the Chinese folks and spend it on his hair, spend it on these lashes, spend it on all these foreign things. I've said it before. You looking foreign, but your child looking boring, all because the child got holes in the socks, and don't even have socks on, holes in the clothes and everything, but you look like you just got ripped out of plastic, and you just came out looking brand new from a beauty supply, but your child is being neglected. This is why I tell you, men, y'all be careful who y'all have children by. I always say this, men and women, please be careful out here. Please be careful out here. Because sometimes y'all may not realize this. Every man is not like this, but some men may want this promiscuous woman. But do y'all know sometimes when y'all get that promiscuous woman, that sometimes, hey, it might be passed down to the daughter that y'all may have one day. You can't, now you want that promiscuity from that woman that you with, but then you may not want that to be passed down to your child. That's why you got to realize what kind of character that woman has. And so many men get mad at people like LeBron, for example, because he's with one woman. He's been married to Savannah all this time. They get mad at that because they say, oh, she's a good woman, but he could have had this, and that. But no, Savannah has raised them children up according to his and her standards. So shout out to Savannah, because she's the real GOAT, in my opinion. LeBron may be, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time on the court, but I think Savannah is a GOAT in reality that has helped him get to where he is today. That's why I'm discussing a little bit about the prenup situation. I'm not saying that everything is not going to be for everybody anyway, because we know that you have to mold your relationships and your marriages to your standards. First of all, to God's standards, right? If you believe in God, God's standards are going to be set first. But then make sure that it's molded to y'all standards as well, and not what you see on Lust and Hip Hop or any of these other shows. And rest in peace to Miss Jackie O, because I know that, I believe Mona was talking about this recently as well, about how she passed from the mommy makeover surgery, right? The mommy makeover surgery is so ironic, is that she passed on the last Thursday, and I was just talking about on my show last Wednesday how I said some of these women wish they could come up off these tables and tell y'all not to get these surgeries. And that's a totally different topic. Shout out to Eric for the $5 saying prenup can still backfire. So prenup a lot of times doesn't work. So it's always better to find the right one to marry. And even when you think, Eric, though, even when you think you got the right one to marry, sometimes you may not. Do you realize how many people have gotten divorces and say, oh, I thought this was the one, we've been together for all these years. And as soon as the children got grown, they said exit. Or as soon as fill in the blank happened, exit. Better to have it. My pastor always says, when he says, if I'm talking about God, it's better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. And I say it's the same thing with prenups. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Let's continue. I'm going to continue reading some of these stories as I wrap up for tonight. Just want to help out as many women as possible. And I want y'all to let me know by putting it in the chat how many red flags. You know, just let me know if y'all see red flags in this message as I'm reading it to y'all. Put it in the chat to let me know. Girls, sisters, please tell me I did the right thing. My head is spinning. So I was with this guy for 7 months. I try and break up with him every time I get my period. And I'm just reading this stuff for the first time, y'all, so bear with me. So I'm just getting off my period, but I told him today I want to take a break for real this time. I just need to figure out what I want, because I'm always back and forth between wanting to be with him and not wanting a relationship right now. I've been through a lot in the past 3 years with getting out of a long-term 12-year. Y'all know how I feel. Y'all know how I feel about these light switch relationships. On and off. 12 years of your life is a long time. And I know that was toxic. It had to be, but who's the red flag? Was it him or was it you? Because I told y'all before, when you find out that something isn't for you and you stay over your extended stay, you at the Marriott, but you think it's an extended stay. And then you got to pay the extended money. You checked in early part of your life. I always talk about this. You checked in early. You had that late checkout. So now you got all these associated fees you got to pay, all because you're getting back into this world trying to figure out how to do things right when you've been a part of something for so long. Early check-in. He sucked the youth out of you. And now you got to get back out here and try to catch up for all these years. Like Remy Ma was saying how, y'all know Remy Ma, the rapper. She was saying how she had went to jail, I think, it's for a couple years or whatever, right? She said that even though she's 43, she feels like she's 35. That's what she says she is. She's claiming that she's 35 because I guess she spent 8 years maybe in jail. This is the same thing with y'all women that have to get out these toxic relationships. It's like y'all hitting a reset button on y'all age, but y'all really can't do that because that's not a real thing. Y'all think y'all can just rewind like... Y'all can just rewind and get back to where you were before you got into this relationship. No, ma'am. Before you even think about getting into anything else, you have to go and seek therapy. You have to go and ask God what you should do. And it obviously isn't that relationship because God wouldn't want to put you in something that was toxic for you. He wouldn't want to do that. And we want to pray to God because, hey, I can admit it too. I was praying to God, say, God, if he isn't for me, show me. I did that for my first relationship, went to church a couple days later, and then literally... we broke up. That's what happened. Like a couple days after I went to church, I was like, God, if he isn't for me, remove him out of my life. He removed him. And then I ended up going back with him. So I'm saying like, there's just things that happen. And it's like, I heard God say what he had to say. And this is why I'm telling you, because I'm talking from experience. I heard God say what he had to say to me and he did what he needed to do. But then I'm over here debating if that was really God. Something I'm like, let me just give him another chance. No. I've been there, so I can talk about it and I can tell other women that it's not worth it. And I'm so thankful that I've only had 2 years of dating experience, one with the first and one with the second. And that's why I'm saying that any more than that, I've learned so much in 2 years that probably people haven't learned in their lifetime when it comes to relationships. I'm thankful for that. I'm extremely thankful for that. This is why I'm saying when I hear people say double digit relationships, it's not a real thing. The reason I say it's not a real thing, and people say, oh, don't care about the paperwork doesn't matter. The paperwork does matter at the end of the day. Because let's say that this man or this woman died. They're going to list you in an obituary maybe as a special friend, or they'll say common law marriage maybe in your benefit. Look at DMX's whatever. What was she? Was she even a fiance? But she didn't get nothing when DMX died because she was waiting for that special moment and it never happened. That's why when I hear double digit relationships and y'all are not like young kids growing up together, y'all are like old folks, you know, quote unquote older, but y'all in long-term relationships. Y'all calling it like, it's so funny because my cousin Michaela was saying, you know, she was wondering, do older people have boyfriend and girlfriends? I said, yeah, they do. But to me, it's just funny hearing that because we're so used to older folks having husbands and wives, not boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, the older folks like to say, oh, that's my little friend. That's my little friend Henry. That's my little friend Ron or whoever, right? Fill in the blank. But that's what they like to say sometimes. And I just think that the special friend isn't a benefit. It's not a benefit. That's like the equivalent of friends with benefits at the end of the day. That's the red flag. Let's continue reading this. Let me know if y'all see any more red flags. Put the red flag emoji in the chat when you hear it. But again, long-term, she said, I've been through a lot in the past 3 years with getting out of a long-term 12-year toxic relationship. And my dad passing away, which caused me panic attacks and anxiety. And that just further confirms the reason why I mentioned therapy. The reason why I mentioned you don't need no distractions right now. You don't need no distractions. And I said that the way I said it for a reason. Distractions. You don't need it. You need to focus ahead. You need to focus on what God has for your life because you can't come in trying to love somebody else when you may not love yourself and you have some things to work on. And nobody's coming into anything perfect. Nobody is. But when we know we have things to work on and we expecting that other person to be our therapist for us, skirt, that's not going to happen. And then this is another thing that kills me because she said, so he's really an awesome guy. But then as soon as they say that, they proceed to say things that don't make that person awesome anymore, at least in my eyes. But I'll continue reading it. He's really an awesome guy. He really is. He's so good with my kids and sweet and just awesome. He does smoke a lot of weed, but doesn't drink. I quit drinking almost a year ago when my dad passed. His family is awesome and so accepting. I just can't get past this feeling of wanting to not be with him. Like a gut feeling or something. But I don't know if it's just my anxiety playing tricks on me. I do have sex with him, which I know I've been trying to work on. It's mine and his fault. Okay, she's taking some. Like 50% of the accountability right now. She said, I've told him plenty of times, y'all coming in with the red flags. I told him plenty of times I want to quit having sex, but then I'm the one sometimes who's just in the mood and give in or start it. So you the red flag at this point. And he says that's fine. He will quit with me if that's what I want to do. He doesn't have conviction about it though. He goes to church with me every Sunday, but I believe it's just for me. He is head over heels for me. I mean, really loves me. And I have love for him, but I can't get past this feeling. So I broke it off and he's devastated and went to the casino tonight. I just don't know if I did the right thing. He's so good to me and the kids and wants to be in our lives so bad. I do enjoy being with him. I just don't know if it's my anxiety making me think this way or a guy trying to tell me he's not the one. I'm going to go with the latter for 200, Alex. Please be easy with me. I'm having a horrible enough time as it is. He hasn't went to the casino in months, mainly because I don't like it and he had a little gambling problem. And okay, let me get this together, y'all. I'm just going to say, when we see the red, I don't care what red it is. I don't care if it's a light red or a dark red. I don't care if it's like a pinkish red. If it's red, it's red is red. And you read it over them, R-E-A-D. You read it all over them, the red that they had. But you decided to stay with that person. And You see, with this guy for 7 months. Thank God it's not as long as the 12-year relationship. I'm thankful for that. But do y'all think she should stay? Or do y'all think she should leave? Put a 1 in the chat if she should stay and try to figure this out and further add to her anxiety. Work it out, pray on it. Or 2, if she should just get up and go and leave and work on herself. 1 for stay. 1 for stay. 2 for go. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I'm just going to say 2. I don't know if it's worth working it out because she has a lot of work to work on anyway. Okay. Shout out to Corey Joe for being here. I appreciate you. And I see you with the new profile picture. All right, sir. Salute. Yeah, stop yo-yoing that man. You don't know what you want, so let it go. All right, we've come to a consensus on that, and we're going to continue with a few more, y'all. Thank y'all for staying with me. Let me know, men, about this one, right? This is an interesting one. I want to hear what the men got to say about this. Good day, everyone. Oh, you say Eric, hold on. Before I even get into this one, Eric say just work it out. Eric, you the one, what's it called? The devil's advocate, right? Like, he said work it out. Woo. He's that one. Look. Good day, everyone. I have a question. I love for your opinions, and I'm so glad for this English. I'm so glad to have such beautiful, wonderful family I can run to. So my best friend is in a relationship, and she is a virgin, and she stands on no sex till marriage, which he agrees to. But she told me today that he told her that his stomach hurts. And it's been like that for a while. And that is because he hasn't laid with anyone for a long time. And so he wants to, but he doesn't know how she'd take it. And he didn't want her to find out from someone else. And so she asked me, and honestly, I don't know what to tell her. I think I do, but I don't know how. So men in the chat, can y'all let me know if this is true? What, a man's stomach is hurting? He said his stomach is hurting, and that's because he hasn't laid with anyone in a while. Can y'all please let me know about this one, because I'm very confused. I don't know how men's bodies work, so let me know. It says that his stomach hurts, and it's because he hasn't laid with anyone for a long time. Cap. Thank you, because I'm just trying to figure out. You be having to ask the men. Bullish. Yep. Okay. Good enough. I was going to shout out Derek real quick. Shout out to you. He said, just drop by to say boo Cleveland. Shout out to my Cleveland folks. I got my auntie Carolyn in the chat. I appreciate you. We're not taking no Cleveland slander. Are you talking about the city of Cleveland as a whole? Are you talking about a particular sports team? Because we can't be having no Cleveland slander. I got my folks from the 216 in the building. All right. His stomach is hurting because he got gas or he ate. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. He ate something wrong. Something ain't right. Tomorrow, you better check it out. It might be that second strand of corona or something, because they were talking about how if your stomach, be having a stomach bug. Maybe that's it. But Cap, he said, I never heard of that. Maybe he needs a Verner's. Okay, right. Shout out to my Detroit folks. They know about that Verner's. That's our medicine. Let's keep it going. So I'm interested in this guy that I follow on social media. I got his Snapchat, and I've been trying to make small talk with him. He has a girlfriend, though. Ma'am, and I don't even know why I'm reading the rest of this, because you are a red flag. You are a red flag. I get tired of women like y'all, and I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, but I'm being serious because I have dealt with that in the past, and I'm not a fan of it. Women who don't know how to stay in their place. You're a woman who's desperate. You're a woman who don't know how to stay in her place, all because you're trying to make small talk with him for what? Walk yourself on off. Know your place. And stay in your lane, ma'am. You trying to interrupt something. If he has a girlfriend, he shouldn't be communicating with you no way on those Snapchat anyway. I told you, you know how I feel about Snapchat. It's snap whack to me. Y'all folks who got it, good for y'all. If you have it, I'm not shaming nobody, but I'm saying Snapchat is just another way to be sneaky. Sneaky chat. And that's just facts. And on the last one, let me read Eric's super chat real quick, where he said, with the $2, he said, bro's capping, but sis need to leave him. On that last one, y'all, where we talking about, let me pull it back up real quick. Right, where he talked about his stomach hurts, and that's because he hasn't slept with somebody. We calling cap on that. Let's go back to this side chick. Because I don't like that. You know how I feel about women that don't... You You know how I feel about women who don't stay in their place. He's talking about you trying to make small talk with this man. He has a girlfriend though, but he posted on his story that he wanted a true friend to listen to the sentiments of his heart. And this is what I'm talking about. When social media, like, as we know, idle hands, I'm going to read this exactly how it comes up. Hold on. Idle hands, I believe that's what it says. Idle hands are the devil's playground, devil's workshop. Yeah, idle hands are the devil's workshop. That's what I want to tell y'all tonight. This man is on Snapchat talking about he's looking for a true friend to listen to the sentiments of his heart, knowing that that true friend needs to be his girlfriend, and that's the only person that needs to be listening to the sentiments of his heart. That's it. And she said, that has me wondering if he has a girlfriend, she should be able to listen to the sentiments of his heart, okay? And he should be able to confide in her. I told him I was interested. Why, man? Why are you doing that? Why are you interrupting something? You just need to look at the story and scroll. Look at the story and exit. There's no need for you to come in and trying to get this emotional attachment from this man in hopes that you'll one day replace her. Is that what the goal is of this? Let me know, y'all. But I be feeling some type of way when people just be trying to interrupt the scene. Like everything is going good, like in somebody's home. You trying to break up even though this is not a marriage, okay? But I'm just saying though, if this person has a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if I know a man has a girlfriend, I'm not going to be trying to be all buddy with him like that. You have to know your boundaries. And it's usually up to that man to let you know that, hey, this ain't about to be what you think it is. And it's up to you as a woman to respect that. And don't even try to press those buttons to see if you can get greater access to this man. I told him I was interested and I asked him to confirm if he had a girlfriend. And he said yes. After that, I haven't seen his story ever since I told him. But after that, he's been watching my story all the time. It wasn't before. I texted him last week about me not seeing his story in a long time, and I know he's been posting on Snap, but has me blocked from seeing his story. He says he doesn't recall blocking me, but I don't know what to think. I know guys can be really confusing, and look, ma'am, you just said that, but that's a lie. Guys are not really confusing. You're just dealing with the ones who want to be confusing because they don't know what place you have in their life. And if you don't know what place you have in their life, that's because that man doesn't want you in his life, at least permanently. She said, I would love to be his friend, though, to start off. To start off, ma'am. To start off. Where do you think this is going? He has a girlfriend, ma'am. Stop. And this is what I'm saying, Big. And shout out to Ish. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know, too, sis. Let me know. Is it Ish? I hope that's right. Let me know, though. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And you said he got caught. And see, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. If she's no longer able to have access to his story, it must have been a girlfriend on the Snapchat, right? It must have been a girlfriend on the Snapchat looking to see that they were interacting with one another. And she said, I'm going to block her from seeing his story. Something like that. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, what's y'all advice or opinion on this? Let me know what y'all think in this chat. Like Kojak already said it. She's trying to be a homewrecker. She's a pillow hugger. Oh, I pronounced it right. Okay, perfect. I'm going to be making sure. I know it's simple, but sometimes we messing up. So thank you for letting me know that. Awesome. You said, yeah, she's a homewrecker. She's a pillow hugger. She's a side piece, an OP, and a red flag. That's how it is. Yeah, I agree with that. She's a mess. I don't like women like that. You got to be careful of that. And everybody's trying to ruin something that looks good. Be careful. Be careful out here, ladies. Let's get into the next one. Okay, here we go with a new one. Hello, ladies. I'm feeling down today. I know in my heart I did the right thing. I was recently talking to a guy, and I made it clear I don't want sex until marriage. I wasn't born Christian, and I didn't grow up in a godly home. I've made a lot of mistakes in life. I'm not guilty for my sins, as I have spoken with God and gave my life to him. I know God is my main focus. Okay, salute. I thought he was leading me back to this man that I walked away from due to finding myself. I told this guy I'm not willing to go against God now that I know him better, or now that I know better. He insulted me and said, you have many kids and now I have to wait. Hey, this is what I'm saying. He said, you have many kids and now I have to wait. I'm not a teenager. I never would speak to a stranger in such a way. His comment was true. I do have 5 kids, but that's no one's business to judge. Is it? Is it no one's business to judge that you have 5 kids? Because that man, in some way, any man that you ever deal with is going to judge, whether it's for the good or for the bad. They're going to have their opinion because they know they're coming in and they're about to have to take care of the Brady Bunch, especially if these are younger kids. That's why that man has the right to judge. Because I'm telling you, most men, they usually sign up. They be like, I'll clean up on aisle 2, knowing they got 5 kids they have to look after. They have to look after 5 kids, take care of them, but they can't discipline them. And then they got to let the kids going to say to their face, you not my daddy. You not my daddy. Who's signing up for that? 5? It's a lot when a person has to sign up for 1 or 2, let alone 5. So of course they're going to judge. Let me know, man. Are anybody in here, y'all taking up 5 kids? Any men in here? Let me know. He knew I had 5 kids from the beginning. I can provide for my family, okay, and love them on my own. He claimed I could be using him. I don't even know him or what he has. Many men who have money and things to offer, but I wouldn't look to them for love. Okay. So why do I feel so negative about myself? I know this is a question no one can answer, but I'm hurting because the things he said bring it up my past. He claims no one will ever want to be with me. And see, that's the thing. I would never say that to nobody's face, saying nobody will ever want to be with you, because there's some man that will want to be with you, because you, even with all of us, we have baggage. We all have baggage or something we have to work on, some flaw somewhere. We're not perfect. And because of that, anybody who's dealing with us, not dealing with us because that sounds bad, but anybody who signs up to be with us and takes us in and says, hey, I want to be with you forever, right? That person that signs up to be our life partner takes us in and loves on us and all that, all because even though they saw our flaws and all, they decided to be with us because they knew that the reward was greater than any quote unquote risk that people would think we have. Nobody's perfect. But I'm saying that you will have someone one day, woman. You will have someone, right? You just got to understand, first of all, you got to make sure you don't attract, if you have younger children, make sure that you're not attracting predators. Make sure that you're not attracting predators. There are so many women who have invited men into their household thinking, oh, he's so good with children. And the only reason he was so good with children is because he wanted to mess with them children, mess with them kids. We've heard about it. Women think it's a certain look. Women think it's a certain look as it relates to predators. But let me tell you, these men they can look good or bad, and they still could be trying to target your children for the next Taken movie. The next, human trafficking is real, y'all. We don't believe it is, but it is, even for kids. And that's why they can be targeting you to get access to your kids. So that's why you're wondering why he's so nice sometimes, and that could be it. And that's not every man, but you have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to be on your P's and Q's. I'm going to continue reading the rest of this real quick. But she says, he claims no one will ever want to be with me. I'm confused. Maybe I'm not worthy enough to finally find a godly man. And let me tell you that right now, sis. You are worthy of finding a godly man. It may be a godly man out there who didn't have children but wanted children and wanted to be able to help someone out who had children. You're not in the wrong because you had 5 children. I know people will look at you with the side eye and say there's no hope for you, but I'm going to say there is some hope for you. And you pray to God that he brings you the right man who will understand what you're coming with, because just because you have 5 children doesn't mean you are winning in other areas and that you aren't compromising for what could be considered as quote unquote baggage, because people don't look at your kids the same way that you do. But just know that God has something for you. Jeremiah 29:11. For God knows for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Seriously. Be mindful of that. Be mindful that you shouldn't give up. You shouldn't feel any less about yourself, because you said you're born again. You weren't a Christian back then. But there may be some hope for you somewhere. I wouldn't just give up. Even if I was somebody with 5 kids, I wouldn't give up. I would just know that let me say this. I'm not going to say settle. I'm not going to say settle no matter what. But I'm saying that just face reality. Let's live in reality and realize that sometimes you're going to have to raise your children up and let them get a little older before you get out here dating. Because some people don't want to sign up for 5 little small baby kids running around here. But if they're a little older, they're teenagers, they almost out the house, and that can look a little different than 5 kids that's just growing up. Be aware of that and just work on yourself, but don't neglect your children for trying to find a man. Don't do that as well. So many women out here. And I'll put y'all on the back burner. The kids are raising themselves all while she's going out here on all these different dating apps trying to find a man. You do that, you could be easily mistaken. I know you want to live your life too. I know you want to do that. But your kids are the priority, because you don't want your kids growing up doing the same thing you're doing right now with the 5 children. You want to teach your kids the right way early on. Proverbs 22:6, right? I hope Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow old, they will not depart. Train up a child. Let the children know you've made some mistakes. This is what I did. This is what I'm limited to, all because I made these mistakes. And now I want to teach y'all don't have to go out here and do like that. Y'all don't have to be like me. I want y'all to do better than me. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to put my all into y'all. I'm going to put my all into y'all because I had y'all. Y'all didn't ask to be here. Instead, I'm going to show y'all the way, and then they won't end up like you, because we don't need baby mothers producing other baby mothers. We don't need baby daddies producing other baby daddies. We don't need that. We need that cycle to be ended. But nobody wants to end that because we think it's cute. We have all these different celebrities today who are preaching baby mama, baby daddy culture, from the Kikis and the Hihis to the TTs and all these different folks preaching about baby mamas is the way to go. I don't want to get married. The Naomi Osaka, I think that's her name, Naomi, who plays tennis, for example, she has a baby on the way. And I just found out about that the other day. But I'm saying everybody want to be a baby mama now. Even I know, what's his name? Zion Williamson. He's a basketball player. He's 22. He has a child on the way. And I don't know what that can do for his career, because you don't need to get distracted. You don't need to get distracted with no children at an early age in your career. We'll see what happens. But let me tell you, lady, don't feel down about yourself. You need to build your self-esteem up, and I wouldn't let another man come in trying to tell you who you are. You need to really know who you are prior to. Therefore, when somebody comes in and starts saying those sweet words to you, you won't be fooled by it, thinking that, oh, he's really sweet. People know what to say when they want to say it to get what they want. And I understand where that man's coming from, especially if this man is not of God. And he's saying, hey, you had these 5 kids by these different men. They had the chance to get you. So now that price tag is a little bit lower. So why can't I get the chance to be with you just like they did? Why I gotta wait? Why I gotta be the man that has to pay the consequence of all these other men? That's why I tell you, women, we gotta set up the foundation early on, because no man wants to be consequenced based off of what the other men did in the past. That's my thoughts. Kojak said, I'll court a lady with 5 kids that are like in high school or college or grown, but little kids, no thank you. I don't think no man wants to sign up for that. That takes a man with a lot of patience. And I think in the movie Claudine, put a 1 in the chat if y'all seen the movie Claudine with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. And put a 2 in the, just put a 1 in the chat if you have seen the movie. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen Claudine. That was my movie, though. That was my movie where, Claudine's husband, I forgot his name, but James Earl Jones in the movie was the garbage man, right? And they went together. I guess they both had kids. Shout out to Aunt Tracy. She knows about Claudine. And that's that movie. That's that movie, for sure. I love Claudine. It just showed how they could get together and be able to create a blended family. That's what it was. I really loved it a lot. It showed the reality. It shows the reality. All right, let's continue this, y'all. I got a few more and we'll be heading on out. All right. The next one here. Let's give her some advice. And let me know if this is red flags or not. I am in need of some advice. I guess you can say I am not good at relationships. I didn't have the best examples growing up, and I honestly don't know what is okay and what I should consider not okay when it comes to certain things. My fiance and I have been together for a while now. We plan on getting married this coming February. Well, this was back in 2020, but okay. I struggle with his Facebook account. He has a lot of women on it. This is what I'm talking about. He has a lot of women on it that are, let's just say, not appropriately dressed. He also likes their pictures frequently and has a few he is pretty consistent with that he follows. He never talks to them that you know of. He never talks to them, just is always liking their pictures. There is always girls added to his accounts that are the same type, hardly dressed, and he doesn't personally know any of them. He claims they are girls who he had friend requested years ago that are just now accepting his request, and that I have nothing to worry about. He says I'm just being jealous and over dramatic. Any advice is helpful. I am just at a loss. It deeply hurts me. Is this something I should be worried about? Am I just overreacting? Or is this a red flag that I need to be worried about in my relationship? And while y'all are thinking about your answer, because I see the red flags, I'm going to read Chavis's super chat with the $5. I appreciate you, bro. He says, how did you see Claudine and I haven't? I thought I was on her. Wow, look at you with the, you haven't seen Claudine? That's crazy. What? You got to get on it. Claudine is so good. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. You've been knowing about that old school stuff too, but yeah, I've watched it a few times. I watched it. Let me read what y'all saying. Thank you for the donation again, brother. This says that he has friends in which are on his Facebook page that he's never met, but he's liking their pictures. And I feel some type of way about this because I do. And let me explain. This is, you said, nope, nothing to worry about. Is that what you say, Eric? Well, let me say otherwise. All right. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it real over here. And that's what I'm going to do real quick. Let me say this real quick. I am dating. Let's say I'm dating a white man. Let me say I'm dating a white man, y'all. But all I'm following is all these chocolate brothers with their shirts off. And I'm liking their pictures all day. Hidden like. Every time something come up, ding, 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 ding. Hidden like on their pictures. But I'm dating this white man. So, does it say that my appetite is desiring a little bit of chocolate, or should I stick with my white chocolate? Is what I'm trying to figure out from y'all. Let me know. Because I say that I love my white chocolate. That's what I say. I say I love my white chocolate, but for some reason, I had a tendency to want to get a little taste of chocolate every now and then. Some dark chocolate. That means my taste buds are off, right? Something ain't right. No, I'm gonna say before the messaging, because when we are messaging before we even message, and let me explain that a little bit more. In my opinion, we're sending out signals. Whenever we're sending out a like to somebody, we're sending out a signal that we like what we see. We're sending that signal because, for example, would we be liking photos of folks if we knew that they didn't receive the notification to let them know that we liked it? I don't think we would take the effort out to hit like on something if we knew that that like wasn't being sent to its destination. And I hope y'all get where I'm coming from right here. We're always sending a signal, and sometimes signals can be crossed, and we don't need to be confusing our significant others, folks. We just don't need to be doing that. I'm not going to be, if my husband has a dad bod, I'm not going to be over here liking pictures of men who have six packs. That means my appetite is off. That means I lost my appetite for the dad bod and I'm over here craving a six pack. That's what that means. So that means that I need to reevaluate what I really like. Okay? Shout out to Menelik. He said, good night, Chelsea. You looking phenomenally beautiful. I appreciate you so much for being tuned in. Thank you for the love. I say, even before myself personally, I'm the type of person as a woman, I'm the type of person who makes sure that, well, not make sure, let me say this the right way. I'm the type of person that everything adds up to what it is. It's not just he's sending messages to them. I'm trying to figure out about the plan that happened in which before you even sent the message, what was going on? What was the indirect communication that was happening? If you understand where I'm coming from there. I don't look at just the act. I looked at everything before that because it's so important. It's just like when I'm sitting next to you, let's say, and you on your phone, hidden like and got your phone turned a certain way and you're interacting with this person and it leads up. It goes from one like. It goes from you liking a few of her photos and she liking a few of yours and y'all going back and forth with likes until the DM is reached. I think that's indirect flirting in a way. That's how a lot of people slide into DMs. They slide right into DMs. And see, that's a great question. When you're in a relationship with somebody, successful, melanated, dusty, I don't think there's a need for people to be doing that. And I think at that point it is lusting. It could be lusting even when you are single, right? It's a difference. You have to know what the intention is. If you're liking pictures of that person and they're getting a diploma, they're graduating from college, they are getting an accomplishment, and you're doing that, then that's fine. That is fine. I'm about to read Dre's comment. That is fine when you are. That is fine when you are. He catching me off guard. But no, that is fine when you are liking a picture of somebody's accomplishments. Not when you start liking and loving pictures of people in bikinis and their six packs and all of that, their body parts and whatnot. That's when it can become lusting. When it's like you're drooling over that. But when you're looking at their pictures and you're congratulating them for their achievements and whatnot, that can be seen as friendly. And that's not something I would look at with a side eye. But when it starts going back and forth, like tic-tac-toe in this piece, then that's when we have a problem. And that's why I just say social media has messed up so many folks. Social media has messed up so many folks in the DM. Y'all know it. In so many relationships, somebody done slid in, and then now you got your girl checking you like, who is this that slid into your DMs? Who is this? Who is that? You got to keep explaining all that. Keep the conversation clear. Be transparent, folks, so we wouldn't have to be worrying about what's going on your phone. And that's y'all know I had an episode about that. I had a little short clip about what's up in the phones, because we don't need to be investigating. I'm not signing up for the CIA. I'm not signing up for Law and Order, CSI. I don't have Criminal Minds or nothing like that. I don't want to end up on no TV shows talking about something bad don't happen because we looking through people's phones and we don't found something we didn't like. Instead, we need to focus on how we can make our relationship better, because social media will distract us. Social media will always tell us that the grass is green. Most of the time, it's got that fertilizer on it. And that water bill is so high that you may not even want to sign up for what you saw. That green grass that you saw, the bill is so high. Are you willing to pay it? Instead, we see that we can get access to anybody on social media. I'm talking to y'all right now. This is like a social media, but not really. But y'all get the point. I'm talking to y'all virtually, right? I met y'all through the internet. Most of y'all. I met y'all through the internet. The same thing can happen when you're looking for somebody and you're seeking for something because you don't like what you have at home because of an argument. So now you're on social media looking at somebody else that you know you don't need to be looking at. Social media has given us so much access, and we need to revoke some of that because we are too privileged. To me, the equivalent of like lusting after a woman's photo is the equivalent of a man going up to that woman and saying, I like what I see. That's it. And that's why that woman is over here saying, hey, I don't like what I look like this. I look like Sally with nerdy glasses on, but the woman that he's looking after looks like Megan Fox or looks like whoever, insert Becky with the good hair. You get what I'm saying? Looks totally different than me. And that's when the woman is questioning, like, what is really his type? Because he's friends with all these women that are not appropriately dressed and that look totally opposite of me. That's like a woman who's on 600 Pound Life. Because y'all know the women on 600 Pound Life, they always keep a man and be in these committed relationships with men. But I already know these men be having problems. Because I just try to figure out, why wouldn't you want what's best for your woman? Why wouldn't you want to really help her lose that weight? Sometimes these men be wanting these women to be big. For what? Is it an insecurity? I don't know. Is it a fetish? I just try to really understand what man would want their woman fit for them because they want that woman to live as long as possible. And then also just physical desires. I just try to understand that. But shout out to Dre from Harrison Family Values. He said, Chelsea is the GOAT at receiving compliments and keeping it moving, rolling on the floor laughing. How you know a sister is saved? Okay, because when you get the compliments, and that's just how it is, because compliments, I appreciate y'all, of course, but it doesn't move me to nothing further, right? I'm about that action. It is what it is. When you know who you are and all that good stuff, then that's just how it goes. And that's how we should be. We shouldn't be all women. You know how women be going above and beyond on some stuff like that. I appreciate it. I do appreciate the support. I appreciate the compliments for sure. But yeah, I definitely just stay in my little zone over here on Chelsea's Live Line. Let me continue. I got a few more for y'all. I have a few more, and I see Bobby Wright in the chat. He's just coming to harass me because he literally be trying to check and see if Ron gave me permission to go to see Janet and all this stuff. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Wright. He's just coming to check on me. Okay. Let's see this one. This one kind of messed me up. I was kind of mad when I read this one. I'm going to read it real quick. My husband and I just got married maybe about a month ago. We have known each other for several years because we used to work together. I know that he believes in God, and I am happy about that. I decided that I would gift him with a Bible so that we could read the word together, since he wasn't up for going to church right now. Raise the flag, waves the flag, and raises the flag. I picked one out at the bookstore and was excited. When I gave it to him, he didn't seem to be all that excited about his gift, and now I know why. In an attempt to express himself a week and a half later, he explained to me that he didn't want the Bible and that I could give it to someone else. I was hurt. I believe the best word to describe how I was feeling was grieved. He said that he believes in God and that he will not play with him. He said that he knew he wasn't done doing and living the way he wanted to, and to attempt to try to live right and still be in the world is hypocritical. He explained that I was a hypocrite, and anyone else that went to church, listened to gospel, and anything else related, if they wasn't ready to fully commit and turn their life over to God. I was hurt, torn, and grieved, all at the same time. I just kept quiet as I didn't have a response to what he was saying. Why am I grieving about it? Please tell me, am I upset because he didn't want the gift? Am I upset because I feel like God may be grieved and upset? Or am I upset because I feel like he's saying that he is not going to try until he is ready, and he feels like it is justified in the word because the world says to not serve two masters. I really don't know how to feel. You got this man a Bible and he wanted to disrespect you. You said this is your husband and y'all just got married about a month ago. And the thing about it is that I know you just got him a Bible, but really he should have had a Bible before he got with you. Is how I'm feeling. That's the first thing. I know you did this out the kindness of your heart, trying to get him a Bible, which is a sweet thing to do. And he had the nerve. He had the nerve to say he didn't want it. Shout out to Eric with the $2 saying, why did she marry him? She shouldn't have married, bro. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't think she should have married him either, because he doesn't know what he wants. And that's what I'm saying. I know and shout out to Kojak. He said, I have several Bibles. Salute to you, whether it's the NIV, the NKJV, all the versions, right? I appreciate that and I salute that for real. You said, let it go here. Heaux or HOE. Look. Feeling whatever you want to feel in for that blank. But yes, she did. And you cannot be unequally yoked. You cannot be unequally yoked, y'all. Yep. And at annulment, though, I think she should go ahead and get that going. All right. I got a few more for y'all. Let me see how many more I got for y'all before we wrap up, because we will be wrapping up in the next, how many minutes? About 8 minutes or so. All right, y'all. So I think I got this one here, and then I got one more after this. I appreciate y'all for being here so far. Thank y'all for the love. This one here, and I'm going to read it to y'all because I know y'all really can't see it on the screen. So let me go ahead. She said, my boyfriend, and let me just read some before I get into this next one, y'all. Because they literally, I can't. I'm over here wiping my nose and stuff. I'm allergic to this bull I'm hearing tonight. Goodness. It's like my nose itching because I'm allergic to the bull. It just don't make no sense that people have to go through this and then they're writing all these different paragraphs, trying to get help. And it's stressful for me to have to read this to y'all. I know it's stressful for them to have to type all this up, because sometimes they type all this up and then they already know that it wasn't worth typing it up. They should have just hit that backspace. But I know people want to vent. But the internet is not always the place for that. Shout out to King Strong. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for the love. And Kia said, shout out to you again. She said, yes, they're unequally yoked. It won't work. It won't work. And Successful Melody Dusty is laughing at me. I'm like, I don't know what I said, but I appreciate you for laughing at me. Either prayer to those of us in the Great Lakes and Northeast be safe with the declining air quality. Yeah, will do. Thank you for letting us know about that. Shout out to my folks, wherever you may be located at tonight. Let's continue this as we wrap up in these next few minutes. My boyfriend, he's Christian too, just told me that while I was in the hospital and at my weakest and most mentally broken, that he turned to PORN to cope with it. After I told him in the beginning how uncomfortable I am with PORN and that it hurts me to have a partner who watches it. He told me it helped him cope. Apparently, watching other women's bodies and these different acts is what helped him when he was sad over me and my bad health and mental health. Makes me feel numb and freaking hurt, dude. Like I was suffering in there with so much going on. So you tell me you turned to PORN? Because you weren't sure if we would still be together and you were sad over me. Like I know I wasn't exactly mentally there, but I feel like that should make you want to be there for me as much as possible. Not watch naked women be nasty on camera and do stuff to it. What the heck kind of coping mechanism is that? How am I supposed to feel with him casually bringing it up? Do I try and tell him it felt hurtful? Because I feel like he'll just try to defend himself. So then should I just keep how I feel inside then? Yes, because remember, this is the boyfriend. Yep, keep how you feel inside. You say, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel or what to do about this situation. Like I've broken up with guys because they watched this while being with me. And it just hurts knowing they're looking at other women. And I understand where you're coming from, ma'am. I understand. So some of you are posing, because what happened was she read some of these comments, I guess, and came back with the response at this bottom paragraph. She said, some of you are posing it like I brought it up as a guilty thing or that he admitted it. But that's not how it was. He didn't feel guilty. He just stated casually, yeah, that's what he did to get through how he was feeling. And I told him before we started dating that it was not okay. I was not okay with this or comfortable with PRN in a relationship. No, I'm not being hard on him either. I haven't condemned him or talked bad about him or anything. I only shared my hurt and that I'm not sure how to deal with this. He seems like he thinks it was perfectly okay to do because he thought I just wouldn't... I got a headache, Lord. He thought I just wouldn't mentally come back and be me again. So he thought about leaving me. So the act seemed fine to him. I'm tired. My first requirement before I married my wife was Jesus over everything. If a person isn't about Jesus, run. Thank you, Chavis. Thank you. Let me just applaud you. The standard has to be set, y'all. And if it's not set, you will regret everything that comes after it. That's it. See, this is why you have to ask the right questions early on. You have to know about this. It's so important because some people think that like they have these addictions to PRN, and women, you can't compete with that. You can't compete with all these different women. I told y'all.
It was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, and Alicia.
All these different women that he has seen on the hub. You can't compete with them women no matter what you do, and it's not your job to do all that. That's what I'm saying. You have to be careful with what you expose yourselves to, people. Be careful what you expose yourselves to, because it's difficult out here. If you had all these different experiences, you're expecting that last person, that next person, to be like all the 11 previous ones. And that's what it seems like she's going to have to deal with, because he's creating these fantasies, which these women be doing some stuff that no woman should be doing with her body, but to each his own. To each his own. I just think that at the end of the day, you say he's a Christian. He's not. He needs to go back to the drawing board. He may have some issues he needs to solve. And you shouldn't be over here suffering. Your mental health was already at risk. And now he'll add some more damage to it. So does he really love you the way you think he does? Because if he did, then I don't think he would be putting you through all that and just coming up to you and say, oh yeah, I just did this on the hub today. I just watched this on the hub. I'm feeling great. How are you? You shouldn't be competing with that. You shouldn't. Too many soul ties. But no, we don't want to claim that. Let me see what this last slide is about real quick. Okay. This one here is about another pastor, y'all. Get ready, because I tell you, pastors are not exempt. And that's why I'm going to get into this last one as we wrap up for tonight. I thank y'all again for being here. Hit that like button and let's read this together. Greetings, family in Christ. I need your perspective on this. First of all, I apologize for the long text. So what happened is that I met a guy last year. He's a pastor. As we chit-chat, I realized he seems to like sex. He would send nudes and all that PORONO stickers. I brushed it off, and I guess maybe she meant emojis. I brushed it off and went ahead to meet him. When we did all he spoke about, and I mean all, was sex. I couldn't, so I started backsliding on him. And one time he asked me to master with him over the phone. I told him I won't, because I am fighting that spirit. Guys started calling me names, saying, that's why you're single. That's why you're still single with 2 kids. No man will want you, as boring as you are. What? We just need to get a whole broom and just like sweep out a lot of these pastors from the pulpits, y'all. Can I get the broom emoji in the chat, please? Because we need to dust these dusties out the pulpit. I need some broom emojis, please, y'all, because this don't make no sense. Find them for me and put them in the chat. We are sweeping away the pimping pastors from the pulpit. I'm so sick of this. This man is supposed to be a pastor, supposed to be uplifting congregations, but over here worried about sending news to this woman. I know y'all finding them broom emojis in the chat in the meantime. Appreciate y'all. But yeah. What? Backslided on him. I'm glad you did. And he said, no man will want you as boring as you are. Yes, a man will want you. And that's not boring. It's just about the fact that she has respect. Oh, thank you for the broom emojis. I see y'all in here. We sweeping them up, okay? We cleaning house. We are cleaning house. Last thing is that she said, it took me a while to find. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's going to take y'all a while. Who be using the broom? We have to pull it out tonight. We got to sweep out these folks. All right. She said, I got hurt and I said some words I shouldn't have. Well, ask God to forgive you. But she said, I told him, repent and deal with the spirit of sexual immorality. Because when you're on the pulpit in your church, that's what you spread to poor people of God. Then I blocked him. Later, the Holy Spirit convicted me. I went to his Facebook to apologize, but he didn't reply. I don't even know if I would have even unblocked him. But that's big of you. But I just wouldn't have. Fast forward this year, this March, I went to buy my first car, and just when I left the dealership, I got hit by this huge abnormal truck in the back. I was shattered. I almost felt myself slide into depression, but I remember God kept me alive for a purpose. Then his peace came over me. On Monday night around 1 a.m., the same guy called me, talking about I got a vision about you and your car. He said God revealed to him it was because the guy's heart cursed me. So he needs to pray for me or else the car will be, I don't know what the rest of that means. Contently be in, I don't know what she was writing, but okay. Whatever. I'm not about to keep reading this. All I know is that, you got into an accident. I hear that he called you. He told you had a vision. That's great. Okay. Whatever. All I know is that you need to stay away from this pastor. Because I give him access to you. He says you're boring. So why you hit me up now? Or even if you had this vision. And I ask you to do all this. This is what I'm talking about. Like Kia said, wow, there are so many wolves in sheep clothing. Beware of false prophets, y'all. And stop being so tied to these different churches for these different names, for these different reasons. Because they're going to mess you up. And the pastor's supposed to kind of lead you to heaven. I know they don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in, but they're supposed to lead you to the right way. And him doing that to you is going to lead you down there with him to hell. Doing all that. I'm saying, you're doing too much. But yeah, this is what we have to deal with, y'all. We're reading what these women have to talk about as it relates to these situations. And it's a lot. But I just appreciate y'all for being here. Thank y'all so much for supporting me because y'all didn't have to. Y'all showed me love per usual. And I do appreciate that as well. And God willing, I will be back. But until then, I don't want to hear about nobody going to New Glow Baptist Church. All right, y'all? I'm checking out for y'all folks in Atlanta because y'all got too much going on. But God willing, I will see y'all next week for another episode of Chelsea's Live Line. Until then, stay blessed, stay safe, and I just appreciate y'all so much for rocking with your girl. Peace.